Simon O'Connor.
Mr Speaker, very pleased to take a call in this general debate. I'm actually going to be on the topic of health, which will be no surprise to anyone seeing I chair that committee. And in fact, it's around the work of the Health Select Committee that I want to begin, and just to acknowledge, actually, first and foremost, the people who are putting and sending through many, many petitions. The Health Committee is incredibly busy, just shy of 20 petitions. And in fact, another one came today from the Life Matters Trust from Corinda and Denise on the footsteps, of Parliament here, asking us to look more into suicide and mental health in New Zealand. We have petitions too from everything from tube weaning to smoking in cars, the use of marijuana to breast cancer, psychoactive substances, autoimmune injectors, and the biggie, which often comes up around euthanasia or assisted suicide. And I thought I would just quickly touch on that as sort of an update both to the House and those listening around the scope of this particular petition we're dealing with. It came out of the work of the Honourable Marion Street, and we, as a petition, and the committee to date has received 22,000 written submissions, all of them pretty much unique. In other words, they're not form generated, these are individual submissions, unprecedented in the history of this Parliament. 1,800 people, 1,800 people have asked to be heard by the committee, in and of itself, again, unprecedented by this, or for this Parliament, any Parliament. And we've elected, actually, as a committee, all 9 of us, to hear from those 1,800 people, and we're well underway. Look, speaking more broadly now, moving to the whole government agenda, look, there's a lot of positive news in the health space for government, fundamentally, and built on increased funding year after year. I know this is constant good news to the opposition, and just from the sounds I can hear from them at the moment, I'm sure that is absolute joy, not opprobrium, joy, I'm sure. Look, 3 things I want to quickly note. One is around telehealth, or the use again of telephones and text services to access health. About a year ago, 7 helplines were effectively merged into one, so the likes of Healthline, Quitline and Gambling Line. Instead of having them separate, now they're through one system. And over the last year, about 425,000 Kiwis have been assisted. And this is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week hotline, staff triaged, if you will, by everyone from nurses through to care support workers. It's a fantastic system, and when I did some very basic math, basically we're saying in a year that it's been in operation, there's 1 contact every minute, and 81% of calls are handled within, so I have to read my notes on this, within 20 seconds, which I think is fantastic, and built on a $12 million boost by the government. Look, the others around kidney donation. This is something I've been quite interested in. I'm sure the committee has too, with the organ donation discussions we've had. In recent days, we've actually had New Zealand's first, effectively a 3-way kidney transplant. 3 kidneys, 3 donors. Not the usual way that it works, but it works incredibly well, and with a spot of luck will help us increase the number of transplants in New Zealand. And I think it's really important too that we understand that the Ministry of Health, actually through the Minister's direction, is working through some of the dynamics around transplants at the moment. We've also had, in the third element I think I want to highlight, is around the mobility teams. It's probably forgotten by many in the House, unfortunately, but we've invested a substantial amount of money into developing these mobility action teams, and that's around musculoskeletal issues. So basically think of the likes of arthritis right through to orthopaedic problems. So teams to support people to get mobile, because atrophy, as opposition parties know about, is really a killer. And so the second mobility team has been formed, and it's here in Wellington, I believe, which will be good news to my colleagues here, including even Grant Robinson, the local MP here in Wellington Central. He does sound impressed. I'm very pleased about this. Look, I just want to finish off by acknowledging fundamentally those amazing community groups who every day are supporting our healthcare system. I want to acknowledge the likes of the Maligan Institute, which we had here a few weeks ago, celebrating 50 years of medical research. In that vein, also attended a forum the other day by the Medical Research Foundation of New Zealand. Amazing work. And I also want to draw the House's attention to 2 wonderful groups which are coming into this Parliament actually in the following weeks. We've got the Lung Foundation telling us and going to tell us about, well, effectively, this cancer killer, the largest in New Zealand. They come in session next week. And we also have macular degeneration, one of the major issues for New Zealanders, the week after. So I encourage members to come along and hear about this. Oh.